12:35 here on Wednesday afternoon. It's time for another edition of Tri-State Sports Talk here on AM 730 KWOA. And as mentioned, we got a very special guest on the line as we are going to be talking now with Trevor Gruis, of course, the former Ellsworth Panther and former University of South Dakota men's basketball standout, signing a pro contract to play some pro basketball in Sweden. Hey, Trevor, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing excellent. Thank you for your time today. Well, I guess let's go back to the Ellsworth days. Does it seem like it's been a long time since those days as an Ellsworth Panther?
It really doesn't, but I was just in town for family fun days this past weekend, and I saw some of those little guys that used to cheer us on, and they're getting older, so now it kind of puts it in perspective. It was quite a few years ago.
Well, let's go back to those days. Obviously, a lot of success with the Ellsworth Panthers, state championships, and obviously state tournament runs. What were some of your highlights, kind of just if you had a chance to kind of reflect, then what were some of the things that you took away from your high school career?
It was a lot of fun, those years, like you said, that we were doing those state tournament runs. I'll never forget a lot of those games that we played at Marshall and the RA facility. Those are always rowdy environments and fun games to play in, with the rivalries up there in the section championships. And then probably the best part was just winning a state championship with my brother, then that back-to-back year. I mean, that's something that we can cherish and share with our family and friends down the road.
Absolutely. Of course, that great prep career led to an outstanding career at the college level. Just wrapping up your career with the University of South Dakota Coyotes. And I guess first off, let me ask you, what led you down to Vermilion in the first place?
I kind of wanted to stay close. I knew I wanted to go Division I when I was done with my high school career. And I kind of wanted to stay close with the local schools, NDSU, SDSU, UNI, one of those schools, and I just went down on a visit, and I really had a connection with the coaches. It's a small campus, but big enough at the same time. And I just thought it was a great fit. They were going to be graduating. They're two big guys, so I knew I'd have an opportunity to step in and play right away. And fortunately for me, everything kind of fell into place down there with my career. So.
Yeah, former Yote myself, I think of Vermilion quite fondly as well. So.
It's a great place.
It is a great place, exactly. Way better than that place up north called Brookings, right?
Right.
Well, let's talk about your college career a little bit, Trevor. As you mentioned, you kind of got a chance to really come on the scene and get some minutes right away. In fact, kind of take a look at your career stats. It shows the kind of player that you are, very consistent, night in, night out. You're always giving not only your best effort, but, you take a look at those career numbers, right at about 10 points per game every season and 6 rebounds. I don't think there's probably too many kids that can say that they got to start almost every game of their college career during 4 years.
Kind of like I just said, I was fortunate to get into a good situation there, and the coaches trusted me early on to go in there. A couple games there, I was a little scared with my high school body going against some of those college kids my freshman year, but it all worked out in the end. Like you said, you just got to keep playing hard and do what you can, and the end results will be what they are. And like you said, I was fortunate enough to have a great career down there, and I don't have any regrets on going there or doing what I did.
What was some of the hardest things? You usually talk about when we talk to athletes who play, high school ball than college ball, speed is number one. But for a big guy like yourself, being 6'9", was kind of just having the time to build that strength up. I'd imagine that had to be pretty tough too early on.
Oh yeah, that was huge. My strength, I think I weighed like 205 coming in, and I weigh about 245 right now. I'm still definitely not the heaviest guy on the court, and sometimes played against like some 300-pounders from Kansas State. Those are still some battles for me, but definitely like the strength and, like you mentioned, the footwork. And another thing at the college level is just your basketball IQ. I think that's kind of what separates the good from the greats, or the average from the good at the college level, is, who can think a little bit about the game. Obviously at that level, everybody's pretty athletic. They're all fairly similar with their athletic abilities, and that's what got them there. So, those are some of the small things that really set each other apart at that level.
Is that one of the toughest things, too, for a big guy like yourself, going into college, Trevor? Your frame is, pretty you're a pretty skinny kid and very active, and then now you kind of not only have to get stronger, but you got to put on that weight. Is that tough to do?
Yeah, it was. It took me a while to gain the weight, and then actually after my freshman year, I needed to weigh about 260, and we quickly found out that wasn't a good weight for me, so I had to back it back down a little bit. But like you said, guys are changing their weights. Our guards are always trying to get their weight up or strength up. It's a big thing. It's a physical game.
Right.
It's completely different from high school, and it makes it fun. I mean, obviously, I'm a big post player, so I like to throw my weight around a little bit, but sometimes that gets me in trouble too.
Well, I think that's just something that, although being in athletics and just people don't really understand that because they think it's easy. Well, you just eat more, but I mean, there's obviously so much more that goes into it than just hey, Trevor, have an extra hamburger. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, the amount of weight training and practice we do, I mean, you have to consume a ton of food, and our strength coach is always telling us you have to consume more than you expend. And, well, we're expending a lot of energy up there in the weight room and practices and workouts and whatnot. So it takes a while to get that weight up, and definitely a challenge. And the bad thing about gaining weight that fast is you gain bad weight, and then you have to shape it into your muscle. So it gets kind of tricky. You don't want to gain too much of that bad weight before you can get it turned into.
Once again, our guest here in Tri-State Sports Talk is Trevor Gruis. Again, we're just talking about his University of South Dakota career. What are some of the is there any kind of moments or games that you kind of going to take from your college career that you'll always remember? Any moments that stick out in particular?
I mean, I'll still remember my first ever jump shot at college. It was my first ever collegiate shot, actually. I clanked it pretty hard off the rim, and I had to sit for a couple minutes after that. Coach Boots wasn't impressed with my shot selection there. So it's just kind of a funny one. And then Gonzaga and St. Bonaventure, talk about an atmosphere to play in. Those guys put the RA facility in Marshall to shame. I mean, those fans are nuts. They're all over you. I mean, it was just a great experience. Just things like that when you get to play those high major teams that you see going deep into March Madness and stuff. That's a lot of fun. And then obviously like South Dakota State when we play them. Those are always fun games to be a part of. And, I probably won't remember too many of the games, but all the stuff it was kind of like high school with all my teammates, all the bus trips, all the long plane rides and all that stuff. That's the stuff that you really cherish and remember down the road.
Let's talk about the beard. How did the beard come about?
Well, it actually started back in high school. I had started growing the peach fuzz, and then it was actually before the Summit League tournament. Me and my roommate were bored, and he doesn't have a very thick beard, and he was like, I want a thicker beard, so I think I'm going to dye it a little bit darker. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to dye my beard then, too. And apparently I left my dye on too long and so I had a pitch black beard for the Summit League tournament, and then after that I just kind of kept it rolling. Girlfriend and mom and dad kind of get mad if I let it go too long, but
I was going to ask what your parents thought the first time they probably saw that. That had been pretty fun.
Yeah, they're like, what did you do now, Trevor? But
once again, talking here with Trevor Gruis. Well, let's talk about the big news. Obviously, just signing a contract on with the Swedish basketball club Jamplin. Maybe I'm probably not saying that right, but how did this contract come about, and how did this opportunity present itself, Trevor?
Well, I guess after the season or whatever, some agents started talking to me, and then I picked my agent. I unfortunately had to turn down LeBron James's agent. I didn't want to work with him.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I picked my agent, and then he does his end of the deal where he goes out and reaches out to his contacts and sees, who needs a 5'4" combo center, and he reaches out to his teams all over Europe, Australia, places like that. And they'll take a look at my highlight tape and get back to me, and they'll propose an offer, and then you can kind of move forward from there. If I think it's a good offer, bad offer, and kind of weigh in like that. And then I actually had a chance to Skype with the coach before I signed with him, and he happens to speak perfect English, so that'll be a help or a plus when I go over there to break the language barrier a little bit. But that's kind of a lowdown of how it happens. You get an agent, and he kind of gets things rolling, and then you kind of got to pick if you're fortunate enough to have a few options.
Right. So when do you head over then?
I will leave. I'm actually going out a couple weeks earlier than I would normally. I'm going out August 15th, and I'm going out a little bit early. That way I can come back for my brother's wedding in September. So.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Excuse me. Trevor, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Thought I lost you for a second. Okay. Well, I guess obviously that there's going to be a whole lot of new experiences coming your way. I mean, how are you gonna approach it? I mean, I suppose you just kind of have to wait and see a little bit.
I mean, it's all new. Sweden's a good country. I mean, you can get playing in some of those other countries. Like the Ukraine is actually the highest paying country right now to play basketball in, but Mom didn't think it would be a good idea to go to the Ukraine. But as far as that goes, it's all new to me. It's going to be a new experience. Just can go in with an open mind. I'd rather go over there and not like it than stay here and never know what it's like.
Right.
If I play a couple of years, if I play 10 years, I don't know. But it's something that I've always wanted to do, play at the next level after college, and this is my opportunity. So hopefully I make the most of it and bring some memories and some fun stuff back to share with everybody else.
Absolutely. Well, I should ask you, being of course, Trevor Gruis, very active in 4-H during his high school career, and one thing I know you love is milk. Are you going to have a steady milk supply in Sweden?
I'm going to need to find something. I hope it's close to what we have here. I might not make it without the good old milk. So
that might be your contraband on care packages from home.
I was going to say, Mom and Dad will have to be shipping that over pretty steadily if I can't find any over there. So,
once again, Trevor Gruis, our guest here on Tri-State Sports Talk. Trevor, anything else you'd like to add before we part today?
Nope. If there's any young basketball players out there, just keep working hard. I made it a small-town kid from Ellsworth, so keep working hard, and anything's possible if you want it to happen.
On that note, when you get a chance to kind of go back and reflect, and you really think about the tradition that Ellsworth Panther basketball is able to kind of start and build and, even maintain now today, and do you kind of just look back and just kind of shake your head and maybe disbelief, but I mean, you guys really worked hard at it, but to see what this little town did with that basketball tradition and how it still carries today, I'm sure it's got to be kind of just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, that kind of started back like when Kurt Schillen, Dylan Qualley, Brandt, I mean, I can't name all the guys right off, but, when they made that first tournament run way back when, and, it just kind of started a different culture and a different tradition. If you look at any of the sports teams really around, I mean, we're pretty good at sports in all Southwest Minnesota, Northwest Iowa. If you look, it's ridiculous. I think that's good. We have good kids in our communities that work hard and, keep towing the right line, and I think that plays a big part into our, Ellsworth, like you said, we were always in the gym during the week and stuff, working hard at it. And I mean, all those hours and all the coaches that helped along the way, I mean, they all play into this. It obviously wasn't done just by me. There's other people that were there to foster me along the way, and this is the result. So
right.
Just to any of those young kids out there, all those young Panthers, to keep working hard, and good things will happen. So
you said you're interning, I believe, at the Sanford Pentagon for the summer?
Yep, I'm up here in Sioux Falls at the Sanford Pentagon doing some stuff up here in the office, getting a little taste of the corporate world. So
the grown-up world, right?
Yeah.
Once again, Trevor Gruis, our guest on Tri-State Sports Talk. Trevor, thank you so much for your time today. Again, congratulations, and I think you said it best. You got an opportunity to do it. Why not? And see what has in store for you. We can't wait to hear how it goes.
I appreciate it, and thanks for having me on air today.
You bet. You'll have more on Tri-State Sports Talk after this on AM 730 KWOA.